Shalom, it's Levi Shore. Welcome back to Swing Good Torah. So sometimes it's very hard to see how the Parsha, how the weekly Torah portion relates to current events. But last week it was just glaringly obvious. Parsha Noach, it mentions Hamas twice and just the horrible events of the last couple of weeks. So let me read for you a pasuk, and then we'll talk about what we can do. How can we help at least give spiritual merit to the soldiers that are trying to rescue the hostages and defeat Hamas, and what we can do to help, and why Hamas must be defeated, and how it's no good for the land of Israel, and it's no good for the world, what's happening right now. All right, so I'll read from the Parsha. So it says, V'tishaches ha'aretz lifnei ha'elokim, v'timale ha'aretz Hamas. So the translation is and the earth had become corrupt before Elohim. And that name of Hashem, that name of God, is the aspect of justice and judgment. So it shows that Hashem was judging the world that was acting in this wicked way. And it says, and the earth had become filled with Hamas. So when it says the word Aretz, it can be translated as the whole world. And then Haaretz can also be translated as meaning, it's specifically meaning Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. So what does Hamas mean? What does it mean like the land of Israel was filled with Hamas, which is what we've seen the last few weeks? So one Torah commentator, so Rashi says it's Gezel. He says Hamas means to steal. It means it's robbery, it's stealing. And the Midrash says something interesting. It says that people would steal like little amounts. Like a person would come out with a basket of vegetables, and each person would steal a little amount, less than a pruta, so they couldn't be charged with, where they weren't over on an avera of stealing, but it was just this horrible attribute, and then the person would lose all of his, all of his fruit or all of his vegetables, and each person would steal. So they don't even get much benefit. They were stealing just to steal, even if they had even if you had less than a mouthful. It's just this horrible, mita, this characteristic of just stealing for no reason even. So the Mizrahi says that Hamas means stealing by force, like armed robbery, like violent robbery. The Ibn Ezra, he says it means taking wives by force. And the Or HaChaim, he says that as the ultimate in wickedness. Hamas is it's robbery, it's physical immorality, it's murder, and it's idolatry, it's avodah zarah. So unfortunately, in these horrible events on Shmini Atzeres Shabbos and Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, on the day that Hamas picked to, pick for their horrible atrocities, but we saw Nazi atrocities in the 21st century. I mean, it was just horrible, just murder, just brutal murder. Killing little babies, killing women, killing the elderly, and then in horrible ways, burning and chopping off heads, beheading people, and then the physical immorality of violating these young women, and then claiming this was all done in the name of their religion, and that this was holy. When this is something that Hashem hates, He hates Hamas, and Hamas was the reason why Hashem brought the flood to all the world. So their actions are so repulsive, and those who sympathize with them, those who support them, I mean, forget it. You support this is. I mean, there's no excuse anymore. The world saw what happened. But this has to be defeated. You cannot let Hamas stand this violent, activity. So what are we fighting for? This is not who we are. This is not who the Jewish people are. We're fighting for the Torah. We're fighting for the Eitz Chaim, the tree of life. We want the hostages to be saved. We want the soldiers who have to go in and fight Hamas. We want them to survive and be protected. So what can we do? How can we assure the soldiers have the best chance of survival and that these hostages, Bezrat Hashem, can be saved? So we can all do something. Obviously, like the soldiers, they have to physically do the fighting, but we can add a lot of merit to protect them and help them. We want Hashem, like Hashem wants to wipe out Hamas, and we can do so much to help this happen. So one thing that's so powerful that builds the spiritual merit is learning Torah. And why Torah is so valuable is because the Torah is teaching us how to do the mitzvos. And the mitzvos bring us closer to Hashem. And the mitzvos also have this amazing ability that they can bring Kedusha into the world. They can bring this positive spiritual energy, and the mitzvahs can bring it into us. And we can bring this spiritual, this positive spiritual energy of Kedusha, holiness, into the world. And that the land of Israel itself, it says many places in the Gemara, in Midrashim, that the air in Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, is filled with Kedusha. It's filled already with this positive spiritual energy. And that's why out of the whole world, Hashem picked the Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where he would build the Beis HaMikdash, where we would build the Beis HaMikdash, and Hashem would put his Shekhinah, his presence, into the world, to live there. Out of all the world, that's where Hashem picked. That was the place he created with the most Kedusha and the most holiness. And what it showed that there was this one infinite being, and that the whole world are children created by this one infinite being, and really that life should be this great unity. So why Hamas is so disgusting is that they're only destroyers. They claim they want the land of Israel, but they don't want it for Kedusha. They don't want it for holiness. They don't want it to be closer to Hashem, because all their actions are disgusting to Hashem. It's the exact opposite. So you may say, oh, well, I'm not that religious. But that's exactly why your mitzvah would be so powerful, because all the Jewish people were all together, and a person that hasn't been learning that much Torah, and a person that hasn't done that many mitzvahs, it's extremely powerful when they start learning Torah or they start doing mitzvahs, because it's a part of the Jewish people that hadn't been fully turned on. So you say, oh, I'm not so religious. What is it going to be if I learn Torah or I do mitzvahs? It is powerful beyond your comprehension of how much good it can bring into the world, how much spiritual elevation it can bring to you, and then how much merit it can give to the Jewish people, so we can rescue these hostages, and that this wickedness can be just stopped in the land of Israel. Also, Gemilas Chasadim is so important. So we see that in the Parsha of Noach, that what Hashem wanted Noah and his family to do for a full year when they lived in the Teva, when they lived in the ark, was that they had to spend that year taking care of the animals. So to get out that quality of Hamas from Noah and his family, Hashem made them spend an entire year just taking care of the animals, just taking care of the other living beings that live on the earth, taking responsibility for the earth, and the kindness to all the animals. Is the opposite of that quality Hamas. So acts of kindness are so important. Giving a tzedakah, it's like tzedakah to help the survivors of this horrible tragedy, and to support the emergency services in Israel, and to help send nice gifts and food and packages to the soldiers while they're undertaking this very treacherous mission, is all fantastic things. And this is what we can do. Tehillim, saying the Psalms, brings amazing spiritual qualities into the world, and great protection from Hashem. But we want Hashem's help, and Hashem wants to destroy Hamas. Hashem doesn't like these things, these wicked things that they were doing. And we can show, that we are will be the rightful inheritors of the land of Israel by doing holy things and kind things and things, that are meant to do in a holy land. And that's how really, the land is won. It's not won by violence and murder and just immorality. And this avodah zarah, I don't know what God they think they're serving, but it's not Hashem. It's not it's nothing like what Hashem wants and what He's told us in the Torah. So we can do a tremendous amount, and it's just horrible for the world to see evil prosper, and the world needs to see the triumph of the good, the triumph of the kind over the cruel. And so we can each do our little part, and it will go a tremendous way to hopefully seeing an amazing redemption soon for all the hostages and getting them out of Gaza back to safety, and then the destruction of this wicked behavior and this wickedness. Okay, it's a lot. I hope to see you all back again soon on Sweet Good Torah, and may Hashem bless us all with all the best.